everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video. So today we are talking about Tokyo Disney Resort. So if you're a regular over here, then you will know that I have recently visited Tokyo Disney Resort. A little bit of context, I am cabin crew, so I actually only got the pleasure of being in Tokyo for a maximum of about 48 hours. I took my dad and my sister on the trip and we chose to do Disney on both the days that we had free. I've already posted 2 vlogs. We spent near enough a whole day from about lunchtime in the Disneyland park, and we also spent an entire full day in Tokyo Disney Sea. We had the most amazing time, so if you haven't already seen those vlogs, you can go and check them out. So Tokyo Disney was actually my final Disney to tick off the list. I've vlogged quite a few of my trips and I always do these tip videos at the end, so I felt like I had to do it for this one. In the vlogs, I did post a couple of tips along the way. I said our highlights, I said prices for things, but in this video, we are gonna deep dive into the real tips and tricks. This video is gonna be mainly for beginners. For those of you that are visiting Tokyo Disney Resort for the first time, this video is for you. This is from beginner to beginner. Like I said, that was my first visit. That has been my only visit. So if you are a die-hard Tokyo Disney fan, then I'm probably not your gal. But if you're visiting Tokyo Disney Resort for the first time, then you're in the right place. So like I said, I am cabin crew. I fly for a UK-based airline because that is where I'm from. So this is mainly for people coming from the UK or coming from overseas. There's a little bit about transport and eSIMs and things like that. Also, I'm going to add a little mini haul at the end of this because I've got some merch and I want to share it with you guys, but it'll be speedy quick. So if you want to see the haul, that'll be at the end of this video. But let's get started on some tips and tricks. I've rounded down to 5, and these are 5 things that I think are worth mentioning to somebody visiting Tokyo Disney Resort for the first time. These are things that I wish I had known before I went, so hopefully these can be helpful to you guys. Tip number 1, I'm going to talk about transport, and this is mainly for people that are staying in the Yokohama area, which is where we were staying. If you are staying on site, you are very, very lucky, and I'm very, very jealous. Have the best time, but you can skip to tip number 2. So we were staying in the Yokohama area. Our nearest station was Yokohama Station. We tried 2 modes of transport whilst we were there. We tried the train and the bus. So on our first day, like I said, we went to Disneyland Park. We landed from our flight at about 11 o'clock in the morning, and we were traveling to Tokyo Disney Resort by about 2 p.m. At that time, the bus that I'm going to mention in a minute doesn't run. So that only runs in the mornings and in the evenings. The bus wasn't running at 2 p.m. for us. So we had to go with the train. And for somebody that doesn't speak any Japanese at all, my own fault, I know, I found it very, very complicated. If you guys know me already, then you will know that I am not great when it comes to public transport. I like to drive, I like to get in an Uber, I like to walk. I don't really like taking the trains, buses. Scares the life out of me, I'll be honest. I don't even like doing it in London, which I'm used to. So doing it in Japan was interesting to say the least. We had to ask for help from somebody and we were very stressed.
Are you stressed?
Yes. So the train we caught from Yokohama Station, we took one train to get us to Tokyo Station, and we changed at Tokyo Station and got on the Kyo line, I think I'm pronouncing that right, to Maihama Station. Probably butchering the pronunciation on that. But that's where we went to, and that's exactly where Disneyland is. So it was quite direct, literally 2 trains. It was the buying the tickets that we found really hard. We ended up asking somebody that worked there to help us. She told us exactly what to do. She got up Google Translate to be able to communicate with us. And once she pointed us in the right direction, we were fine, but we would not have been able to do it without her help. It took about 90 minutes. It was a lot cheaper than the bus, I will say. However, we tried the bus on the way home, and it was the most simple thing in the world. So we took the bus from Disneyland Park back to Yokohama Station. It was about a 60-minute drive and it cost us 1,500 yen each, and we just paid cash up front. With the train, we had to book a ticket at the machines, which was really difficult to do. With the bus for the way back, we just handed the cash straight over to the bus driver. And then on our second day when we went to Tokyo Disney Sea, we caught the bus from Yokohama Station again. We went down to the bus terminal. They have ticket machines there for you to get a ticket for the journey out, as you can't pay cash up front to the bus driver on the way out to Disneyland, but you can on the way home. So we sorted out the bus tickets, which was way easier than sorting out the train tickets. And then we got a 60-minute stress-free drive that took us straight to the Disney parks. Then we got it home again after Tokyo Disney Sea as well. Just to break down the form of payments again, it's a travel card if you have it, but it's specific to Japan, so I didn't have one. You can also pay cash up front when you're returning from the parks, but if you're traveling from Yokohama Station, you will need to use cash or card to buy tickets at the ticket machines at the bus terminal. It was so easy. So if you're like me and will do anything to cut as much stress out of your Disney day as possible, which I'm sure you will, then I would highly recommend the bus. I will put a link to where you can find the schedule in the description, but there's 2 different buses. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce it. I'll put both words on the screen. They're the 2 buses that you can get. Both do exactly the same thing. On the schedule, there are actually departures from other areas, but they are just a lot less frequent. And then on the way home, they only go back to Yokohama Station as far as I can see. But I will put a little link to the schedule in the description. The bus was so easy to do, so I would highly recommend doing that, even though it's slightly more expensive. But even 1,500 yen is so worth it for the journey that you're getting. It's so stress-free, and it's a good way to start your Disney day. I hope that helps. Moving on then, tip number 2. We are talking about eSIMs, and this is specific to people that are obviously traveling overseas. If you're from that area, like I said, you will not need to get an eSIM, but I found it very helpful when I'm obviously traveling from the UK. And it's going to be short and sweet because I've said this in every single one of my tip videos when it comes to Disney parks in the Far East. Grab yourself an eSIM. They do have Wi-Fi in the Disney parks, which is very helpful. In Tokyo, I found that it was pretty average, and the further you moved away from the entrance of the park, the harder it got to connect to the Wi-Fi. So I was very grateful that I had an eSIM so that I could be on the app all the time, because that's another thing. You make sure you've got the app because you can do everything from the app. So please download that. Get yourself an eSIM. I used Airalo. I used them when I went to Hong Kong as well, and I would happily use them again. I've had no problems with them, but there are a few other ones that I could mention. There's Holafly or Olafly that I've heard of, and a few others. I'll pop them on the screen. So the eSIM that I got with Airalo was 2 gigabytes of data, which lasts me the entire trip. It was actually the perfect amount that I needed for the 48 hours, which was good, and it only cost me £5.50, and it's valid for 15 days. So nice and cheap and convenient. I would definitely get an eSIM every single time that I travel to that area of the world, especially when doing the Disney parks, because it means I can get on that app as soon as I need to. So that one was short and sweet. Moving on to tip number 3. I'm going to talk about how early you need to be, and that goes for entrance to the parks, shows, parades, everything. This is one that I wish I had known before we went, because I looked up so many tip videos and everyone said different. The Disney fans over in Japan are dedicated. They are so dedicated. They will camp outside that park and they will queue for hours to be the first person in the park. So naturally I was like, I'm gonna be exhausted. I've got 48 hours to experience both parks. I do not want to be losing out on sleep because I'm queuing outside for an extra 2 hours when I don't need to be. And you don't need to be either. So the people that are waiting outside really early for the parks are people that want to be there for something really specific. They may have family that are cast members that they want to see them in a specific show. They might want to be the first people in the park because they want to make sure that they secure their Disney Premier access for the fireworks show in the evening, and they want to get the best spot. They're the people that are queuing up so early. They're the people that are camping outside for hours and hours on end. If you are going for your first ever time at Disney, you do not need to be that early. So when we went to Disneyland, like I said, we turned up at about 2 p.m. We still did everything that we wanted to do. Granted, the weather was not on our side and we had a few things cancelled, but we still managed to do as much as we wanted to do in that day, and we were not there early. We weren't even there at rope drop, so you don't need to get there that early. Our second day for Tokyo Disney Sea, we turned up at 8:30. The park opened at 9, and we probably got into the park at maybe 9:20, and we still did everything that we needed to do. Literally everything. We had so much time in our day as well. We actually had time to chill. You do not need to be there 2 hours earlier than the park opens. And then once you're in the park, you can book all your Disney Premier access, you can book your 40th anniversary slot, you can do all of that, and we still managed to do all of those things from about 9:20. We didn't need to queue for 2 hours. You don't need to queue for 2 hours unless there's something really specific that you want to do and you want to be the first person in that park for some reason, then you do you. But if you're just visiting for the first time, you don't need to be there that early. So get your sleep, make sure you have a nice breakfast in the morning. You do not need to be queuing for that long. Okay, so that's how early you need to be for entering the parks. How early do you need to be for shows and parades? So on average, whenever I visit a Disney park, I try and get to my spot for the parade or the show about an hour before it starts. I will grab myself a snack, I will grab myself a drink, then I will go and secure my spot about an hour before. In Tokyo, like I said, they are very, very, very dedicated to their role as a Disney adult. People will get their spot for the parade or the show 2 hours before it starts. You don't need to do that if you're visiting for the first time and you're visiting for a limited amount of time, because that is 2 hours of your day that you could be doing something else. But I would say about an hour worked out well for us. We were at the shows about an hour early and we still managed to get really good spots for all of them. But just so you know, the Disney fans over there will be queuing a lot longer. They actually sell placemats. That's the only thing I can think of to call them. I don't actually know what they're called, but in the merch shops, they actually sell like a patterned piece of paper. I don't even know what it is, but it's essentially like a placemat, and you will put it on your spot on the floor and you will sit there and chill. They are dedicated, very dedicated. But if you're on a limited amount of time, you can still get a really, really good view if you're securing your spot 45 minutes to an hour before the show. You also have options like Disney Premier Access and entry requests to secure spots in the show, which brings me swiftly on to tip number 4. I'm going to talk to you guys about Disney Premier Access, about the 40th anniversary, standbys, entry requests and all of that, because I did not understand what the hell was going on before I went to Tokyo Disney Resort. But by the time I'd done Tokyo Disneyland and we'd got to Tokyo Disney Sea, I felt like an expert and I was so ready to do it. So I'm going to share all of my tips for that. Okay, so first of all, what are these things? So when you go onto the app, on the Tokyo Disney Resort app, you will see there's options for standby, 40th anniversary pass, options for Disney Premier Access, and also entry requests as well. And these are things you want to book as soon as you're in the park. You can't book these things whilst you're outside of the park. You have to have scanned your ticket before you can actually go on the app and do these things. Standby was something they were running recently, but I think it's stopped now. But it was basically like how the old fast pass system used to work over in the American parks until you had to pay for them. But they were completely free. However, when we were there, standby wasn't available. So I don't know how long ago that stopped. You were able to do it on food and merch, which I didn't really understand, but we didn't use standby at all because it wasn't an option for us. So we moved on to the other 3. So Disney Premier Access is a paid service and it's basically paying for a fast pass. It's as simple as you pick a ride and you secure a slot, and it will cost you on average between 1,500 to 2,000 yen per person per ride, and it's just basically a fast pass that you're paying for. It's that simple. Disney Premier Access isn't on all the rides. It's only on a select few. We found that the busiest ride in the Disneyland park that's on the Disney Premier Access was Beauty and the Beast ride. Use your Disney Premier Access and do it, because it was the most amazing thing I've ever experienced in my life. But that was the busiest one in the Disneyland park. Over in Tokyo Disney Sea, the busiest ride that you can get on Disney Premier Access was Frozen, Anna and Elsa's Frozen journey. And we actually found that by the time we got into the park at about 9:20, they were unavailable. So they go quick. However, they tend to reopen later on in the day, and for us they opened again at about 3 p.m. and I was on my phone straight away, booked those on Disney Premier Access, paid for those. They were 2,000 yen each, and within about 10 minutes they'd gone again and they were unavailable. So just make sure you're on your app and you are looking at all the time, and as soon as they become available again, book one in, because they won't be there for long. Moving on to the 40th anniversary pass. This is essentially the same as standby, and it's essentially the same as Disney Premier Access. It's just not a paid service. It's something Tokyo Disney Resort were doing for their 40th anniversary, which was quite a while back now, but it's still there. there. It's still an option, which is really, really good for us. There are quite limited amount of rides on there, but it's basically a free fast pass. And if you book them quick, you can get some good ones. So the busiest ride in the Disneyland park on the 40th anniversary pass is the Monsters Inc. ride. They were pretty much unavailable the entire time we were there, so we did have to queue for Monsters Inc. That's probably one that I would prioritise in that 40th anniversary pass. And in Tokyo Disney Sea, the busiest ride on the 40th anniversary pass in there was Indiana Jones, and we managed to secure that as soon as we got in the park. With both Disney Premier Access and 40th anniversary, you can only book them every 2 hours or once you've used one. So when we got into Tokyo Disney Sea, I passed the vlog straight over to my dad and my sister, and I got straight on the app and booked our passes. I was booking our Disney Premier Access for Rapunzel. We wanted Frozen, but we couldn't get it because it was unavailable, so we booked Rapunzel. Then I went straight onto the 40th anniversary pass, and I managed to get Indiana Jones on that one. So that was 2 rides that we really wanted to do ticked off already. So we got into the park at 9:20. I'd booked my Rapunzel DPA at 9:20. I then couldn't book another one until 11:20 unless we had used Rapunzel sooner than that, and we did. We used it pretty quick. Same for the 40th anniversary one. We booked that for Indiana Jones, but our time slot for that was yonks away. It was at like 4 p.m. or something, but I was still then able to book another 40th anniversary pass if I wanted to 2 hours after I booked that one, so at about 11:20 again. So it's whatever's sooner. If you get on the ride within half an hour, you can then book another one, but if not, if you've booked a time slot that's way later down the line, you just got to wait 2 hours and then you can book another one, if that makes sense. Any questions, comment them. I'll be able to explain it a little bit easier, but I hope that does make sense. It's all very confusing with all these different names. So onto entry request. This is essentially requesting for a seat at a show. It also goes for the parades as well, and you get to choose a time slot and it just puts you in a seat, and you actually get an allocated seat, and it stops you having to queue outside of the show, which is amazing. You can only have one of these per day, so that one's slightly different to DPA and the 40th anniversary pass. Most of the shows you can do Disney Premier Access as well, but if you can get your entry request in, that one's a free option. So I'd recommend trying to get that first. But all of these things are so helpful. They're really, really good tools if you are only visiting Tokyo Disney Resort for a small amount of time like we were. It just meant that it stopped us queuing and we were able to fit in everything that we wanted to do. If you can afford to do Disney Premier Access, I would highly recommend doing it. Watch out for those 40th anniversary passes. You can get some really good rides on there, and make sure you book an entry request as well. Right, that was a waffle. I hope that makes sense. But basically my tip for that is, as soon as you get in the park, try and book one of each and use them as quick as you can, so then you can get straight on to booking your next one as soon as possible as well. Just keep an eye out, use the app, use those tools to help you, because it will really make a difference to your day in Disney. Moving on to my 5th and final tip. I do have some honourable mentions after this, but this is the 5th tip that I have for you. Language barriers. So if you are not from Tokyo, if you're not from Japan, if you don't speak any Japanese, you will be okay. Do not panic. So cast members tend to speak quite a bit of English. When they do announcements for shows and for parades and things, they will often repeat the announcements in English afterwards, which I thought was really good. The rides are predominantly in Japanese, but it doesn't stop you from enjoying the ride. You can still follow the storyline. A lot of the pre-shows, you can see what they're explaining without even having to understand the words exactly. So you're not gonna miss out on anything there, but the rides are predominantly all in Japanese. However, the shows are not. When we watched Big Band B in Tokyo Disney Sea, which, if I can give you another tip, it's to go and see that show. It blew freaking mind. It was amazing. When we went to see that, the entire thing was in English, the whole thing, and I really didn't expect that at all. When we watched the show, the projection show at the castle, they often had quite a lot of the music in English as well, so they switched up between Japanese and English a lot. When we watched Believe Sea of Dreams in Tokyo Disney Sea, any speech was usually in Japanese. However, they switched up the songs, and a few of the songs were in English. But what I'm trying to say is that there is a variation. You will not be stuck. There'll be people that understand you, and you'll be able to understand the rides, the shows, and everything without speaking Japanese. And that is my top 5 tips. I've got some honourable mentions though, because I asked my dad and my sister if there's anything that they think I should mention in this video, and they gave me a few things to mention. One of them is food. So the food in Tokyo Disney Resort, I'd probably say is quite similar to Paris. If you've been to Paris, they have quite limited options, and when you go to one restaurant, it will be specifically 3 main meals as your options, and then they have other bits, and then the rest of it is sort of like popcorn carts and snack carts and things like that. Under the food bracket as well, I would definitely say to use mobile order. There was actually a few restaurants that you could only mobile order, so definitely look into that. It was very, very easy to do. And also there's quite a few restaurants that you can book that have shows in them, which I thought was worth mentioning as well. If we'd been there for longer and we were staying in the hotel, for example, we probably would have had a sit down meal, and they do quite a few that have shows with them, which would be really, really cool. You have to have reservations for those in advance, so maybe keep an eye out for those and add one of those into your trip. Weather is another thing to mention. We struggled big time with the weather. I don't know what it's usually like in Tokyo, but day one for us in the Disneyland park was windy. We were getting blown off of our feet, quite literally. And then our second day in Tokyo Disney Sea, it was raining for the majority of the day, and we bought ourselves ponchos. So I would just say to bear that in mind and pack for every option of weather, and do not be disheartened if things get cancelled. We had a few things cancelled on our trip because of the weather. It does happen. Have plan B in the back of your mind just in case. And then one last thing is the merch. So the merch at Tokyo Disney Resort is a lot cheaper than any of the other resorts I've been to, so get as much merch as possible. We did find that merch was predominantly toys and things. It wasn't so much like clothing. I did buy clothing but it wasn't as much. Apparently they usually have spirit jerseys and jumpers out, but they only have them out in the winter season, which I thought was quite odd because we were quite cold, especially in the evenings, so I thought it was quite odd that they didn't have any sort of jumpers on sale. But yeah, just to bear that in mind, you might not be able to get a spirit jersey if you're going in the summer season. They don't have them on sale in the summer, only in the winter. And another thing to mention with merch is that anything that's Duffy and Friends is automatically going to be like doubled in price. They love Duffy the Bear and all of his friends over in the Asian parks, so just bear in mind that if you want to get something that is based around Duffy and his pals, then it's going to be a lot more expensive than anything that had Mickey Mouse on it, for example. And that brings me swiftly on to my Disney hauls. So if you were just here for the tips and tricks, I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any more questions, please let me know down in the comments. I'll try my best to answer them as best I can. If you have any tips or tricks of your own, any words of wisdom, anything that can help out our Tokyo Disney Resort first timers, then please let us know down in the comments. I'm sure everyone will really benefit from your tips. But that is the end of the tips and tricks segment of this video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope it helps, and I hope you have the best time on your Tokyo Disney Resort trip. I'm very, very jealous. Now it's haul time. I'm going to try and do this rapid fire because I can appreciate that this video is probably already quite lengthy. So let's get cracking, shall we? My first thing that I want to talk about is the stuff that I'm wearing. So look how cute these ears are. Oh my god, they are so cute and sparkly. They had so many pairs of these. I had like pink and white. They were amazing. I put them in the Tokyo Disney Sea vlog, so you would have seen all the colours on there, but we could not stay away from this blue pair. I think the most beautiful things I've ever seen. So these ears were 1,900 yen, which in the UK means they are £9.85p. You will never ever get ears that cheap. So if you're going to Tokyo Disney Resort, get yourself some ears. I love them so much. On to item number 2. It's the t-shirt that I'm wearing. I'm gonna try and show you this as best I can. Apologies for the angle, but this is the t-shirt. So it says Tokyo Disney Resort on it, and it says where dreams come true, and it's also got Mickey and Friends on the front, which I thought was so cute. It's so minimal, so me. I loved it. And then on the back it has all of the lands in the Disneyland park, which I thought was so cute, and I just fell in love with it. Both me and Kaylee got the exact same. It costs me 3,200 yen, which brings it to be £16.59p, which I thought was really good for a t-shirt. So this thing you would have seen in the vlogs, but this is one of the ponchos that we bought. It actually has Mickey on the back and it says Tokyo Disney Resort on it, and it's so cute. I actually loved it, and it came in very handy. Kept us nice and dry on our Tokyo Disney Sea day, and this cost us 1,800 yen for each poncho, which works out to be £9.33p. Okay, next up I got the cutest keyring ever. There she is. Look how cute that is. It's just a pair of ears, but it's a small world, and it actually has hello and goodbye on the ears in English. It's a small world's about like traveling around the world, isn't it? And I've now officially done every single Disney park, so I felt like it was quite fitting. I thought it was so cute. I'm probably gonna fix it to one of my Disney bags or something. This cost me 1,000 1,300 yen, which works out to be about £6.74 roughly. I also grabbed another keyring. I've got about 3 keyrings I think, but this is the second keyring. And this is a Disney ear holder. How cute is this? So no more for my makeshift snap band, keeping my ears to my bag. I'm using this baby. I thought it was really cute. And the design on it actually has just Disney ears all over it. They had quite a few. And it says Tokyo Disney Resort on the back as well, which is really cute. This cost me 1,400 yen, which works out to about £7.25p. Another good price for a Disney keyring, especially multi-purpose, cute keyring, and holds my Disney ears. Adorable. I also got another one of those. I got the Duffy equivalent. This is my other keyring / Disney ear holder. Oh my god, it's so cute. So it's a key ring with Duffy, and then you attach your ears in here and he looks after your ears for you. He's so cute. I love him so much. I've got something Duffy because I haven't got anything that's Duffy and Friends. I saw a really cute Spirit jersey in Hong Kong, and now that I wish I'd got it because I thought I was going to get a Spirit jersey in Tokyo and they don't have them out in the summer season, so I was gutted. I really thought I was going to get one. Now I wish I'd got the one in Hong Kong, so I was like, I have to get something that is Duffy related. So I got one of these. I thought it was the cutest thing ever. This cost me 2,400 yen. I told you it shoots right up when it's Duffy and Friends. So this one cost me £12.44. So this is basically double the price of the other keyring / Disney ear holder that I got. My next thing is I got another t-shirt. Look at this baby. It's so cute. Look. So if you know me, you know that I'm a Donald fan. Donald Duck is my absolute fave. I love him to pieces. And these are his 3 nephews. Look how cute they are. This is Huey, Dewey and Louie eating the giant sub. And I loved it so much. I also loved the neckline here in the sleeves, like this little red bit. I just thought that was really cute. I also love that it actually does say Tokyo Disney Resort down the bottom there. It doesn't have anything on the back, it's plain on the back, but I just really loved that. Kaylee actually picked this out for me and was like, you should get this, so I got it. And it only cost me 2,900 yen, which works out to just over £15. You don't get Disney t-shirts for £15. Thinking about it, I wish I'd bought more merch because I will never get them this cheap again. So I think I'm gonna have to do another trip to Tokyo Disney Resort just to get some more cheap merch. I also got some snacks as we were leaving the park, so I got this. These are so cute. Look at that. What cute packaging. So these are crispy churro snacks. I'll be honest guys, I'm going to open these and there's only 1 packet left, and the only reason there's 1 packet left is because I wanted to show you on this. I've eaten the rest. If I wasn't doing this video then I would have eaten this packet as well. It's purely for this video that I saved these, so you're welcome. There's the little packet that it comes in. They are literally like crisps, but they are cinnamon flavoured, like churro flavoured. And they look like this. I'm gonna have to do this to show you, look. Can you see it? The Mickey head. Oh my god, love them. They're really crispy. These were 900 yen, which works out to about £4.60-ish. Again, a great price for some great snacks. And last but not least, I never go anywhere without getting a pin. So I got myself a pin. I was actually quite disappointed with the pin level at Tokyo Disney Resort. They had a lot of ride specific ones, but when I go I want to have a pin that says exactly where I was rather than just the ride. So I wanted one that says Tokyo Disney Resort, and I was hoping to get one with the castle because I've got one like that at every single one. This is the one that I picked up. It is Mickey Mouse. They had all of the characters, to be honest, but I chose to get Mickey rather than anybody else because I fell in love with the show Big Band Beat, and this is basically to remind me of that. So this is the pin that I bought. It's Mickey Mouse and it says Tokyo Disney Resort in there as well. I just thought it was really cute. This one cost me 1,100 yen, which works out at about £5.70, and I don't think I've ever got a pin that cheap, and I will never get a pin that cheap again in my life. But anyway, I think I've got some really great merch, stuff that I cannot wait to wear on my next Disney trip. That is not booked yet, by the way. I need to get another one in the diary. But that is my little mini haul from Tokyo Disney Resort. So thank you for joining me on my little haul, and thank you for joining me on this whole video if you've been here the whole time. I hope my tips and tricks helped you out. If you've learned anything from this video, it's that you need to go to Tokyo Disney Resort. Tokyo Disney Sea is so unique. It's unlike any other park that I've been to. It's so beautiful. Fantasy Springs blew my mind. The shows blew my mind. The whole thing is just, it's on another level. It's totally unique, it's totally its own, it's amazing. Their Disneyland park is obviously beautiful as well, but Tokyo Disney Sea, I like fell in love with Tokyo Disney Sea. So please go to Tokyo Disney Resort if you get the opportunity. It is gorgeous. And if you are going, I totally recommend going to see Big Bang Beat. Make sure that is a priority on your list. And I would also say to prioritize all the shows, to be honest, but also ride Beauty and the Beast in Disneyland. I haven't stopped thinking about it since. But yeah, that's a few final thoughts from me. If you have any more questions, like I said, let me know down in the comments. Keep your fingers crossed that I have a Disney trip coming up soon and I can share some more Disney vlogs with you guys. But for now, I am gonna love you and leave you. So thank you so much for watching this video. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you very soon in the next one. Bye.